When children are involved and children with finances are involved, what is your advice? How can these parents approach it? As they,
Same money values. Otherwise, child gets confused. They may start misusing also.
I'm just curious to understand your take on busy parents.
Usually, there is something like this. Parents are busy. They are not able to give attention to the child, and
Yeah.
child is very badly missing that love and affection from nobody to share. And but lot of money is available, convenience is
Yeah.
available, driver is there, car is there, and then good pocket money is given, the expensive branded the clothing is there, and so all that makes them very live a life which is very unreal.
Yeah, like you rightly said, today everything is a button away.
Yeah.
And say the parent is busy, they send a payment thing and you just approve it. It's so quick that decisions can be made and lives can be spoiled because of that.
Kids will try to misuse this. Sorry to say, but I have seen that.
So now I think we all as parents are replicas of our previous generation. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have the fabric of what our parents did and they did what their parents did. It's a generational thing and also a cultural thing. Maybe there are good practices, there are bad. How can we decode this and how can we fix it somewhere if there are problems?
So, fixing is difficult because it's a cultural, deep, ingrained things.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome back. I think we had so much to discuss about after the last episode that we are doing another segment relating to kids and finance. So, I wanted to quickly summarize some of the key takeaways that I had. And I think the top five things that I think most of us as parents took away was I think the first thing is the relationship with money. You stressed a lot about that. Then, how money is not a scary concept, it should be embraced in a nice way.
It is very natural. It should
Yeah,
be very natural. Yeah.
natural. Then, money is not a tool and it is not, it's just a tool, but it's not a determinant of who you are.
Yeah.
Then, money is limited and contentment and gratitude are superpowers.
Absolutely. You're right, Raksha. I think these things, if they are able to get it when they are very young, it is very empowering.
I think also it's very important that we ingrain this in families on a day to day basis.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we'll just continue from there. And last time we did have a conversation about this, but I think I want you to delve deeper into the point of struggles, financial struggles. Every family goes through it in different ways. So, how can parents deal with it?
So, Raksha, this is very sensitive, and hardships every family goes through at some point in time. So, this can be categorized as two ways. One is the temporary phase, maybe 2 to 3 years because of some house purchase or
Mm.
some other sudden expenditure or something. In some cultures, families support for a wedding, education or something. So, that is a temporary phase. The long term, if somebody has started, I've seen a lot of cases where they have started a business
Mm.
and that has not gone well, and then they had to incur a lot of losses. They had to sell a lot of property,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
the vendors and the people who have lent them have gone into a aggressive recovery mode. So a lot of unpleasant things happened in the family, so that has a definitely a deeper impact on the
Mm.
child. So how do you deal? Again, it depends on the parents. How do they want to handle it? Temporary phases and hiding from them or not telling them the truth, or not being transparent will not help, because they will sense it. They are
Yeah, yeah,
sensitive.
yeah.
They will sense it what is happening, and they may overhear it, and
Correct.
that's very difficult. That even uh, create more damage. Actually, you discussing with them,
Correct.
they may assume certain things which are actually not there. They may assume it worse than what actually the situation is.
Mm.
So if it is temporary, they can have a dialogue saying that this is temporary, and this our culture and our family values wants, we did this support to somebody or something, or we had to buy this property for whatever reason, and that is the reason this is going to be temporary, and we will overcome this, and we will be, it's things will be almost normal after some time. that I think they will understand.
Mm.
But when it goes to the other angle where
The
it's
long
long
term.
term and everything, that will have some damage on the kids
Mm.
for sure. But minimizing that will help. Again, they may, without guilt and fear. So guilt and fear is something which kicks in at that time. If parents are guilty, in most of the cases, if business doesn't run, so I have seen entrepreneurs and business owners, feeling guilty about their decisions, certain decisions. Constantly, they'll be thinking
Mm.
about, oh, why did I do that? I should
Yeah,
have not done.
yeah.
The other way is that constantly blaming others. Oh, that person cheated me, or I trusted that person or set of people. So these are all very negative emotions. So
Mm.
if you start speaking about those things, the kids will also may start feeling guilty. One, the two, they may feel inferior about the whole thing,
Yeah,
or they may understand, they may be fearing, they start worrying. So many other negative emotions will start. So as much as possible, it's easy to say, but as much as possible, parents should see to it that the positive message goes at that time. Not that they should hide and give them the rosy picture,
yeah.
but giving them the
Fact.
whatever fact, but in a very, very subtle or maybe age appropriate, the values they can give.
Yeah, because I think today their lifestyle shifts.
Yeah,
Suddenly they're living a certain way, and then
yeah,
there are changes. Kids are
yeah,
resilient, and I think if, like you said, age appropriately, if you tell them, I
yeah,
think they'll understand.
yeah.
Yeah. So this also brings me to a crisis that we are seeing more in today's society
Yeah.
and can't ignore, that is separation and divorces that are happening in families. And yes, legally there are a lot of nitty-gritties involved, and I'm sure they take care of it. But when children are involved and children with finances are involved, what is your advice on how can these parents approach it as they're co-parenting?
See, divorces and separation already, it's a complicated, sensitive, and extremely hard emotions and high emotions run in the family. And on top of, there is already a difficult layer. On top of that, this financial angle
Mm.
comes through. It's very difficult to handle. So one, parents when they are co-parenting, at least come together on this point, and on co-parenting when they are trying to give the same money values. Otherwise, child gets confused
Yeah.
about what to take it. Two, they may start misusing also.
Yes.
Yeah. So, to avoid all that, if they are in good terms, at least they can agree on certain things, that, allowances, how they should give, and, money should not be used to shower their love and affection, and it should not be made to look other person down. These are natural things when difficult divorces happen.
Yes.
So maybe they can come together at that time and try to normalize as much as possible. It's one way. Two, if they don't agree, if it is very bitter and relationships are bitter, and whatever I'm telling you, that should not be the way to handle money with the kids. If the same thing happening, then at least one parent can take a decision to avoid such mismanagement or misconceptions, to give it to the child. And maybe the other parent can maturingly behave, and then say that, no, I think, at least constantly give the message to the child, saying that maybe your dad or mom or somebody can do that way, but here, this is what I believe,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
is what I value, and here, this is what I would like you to follow.
Right. I think there's some element of that overcompensation, no? Because of the
Yes. Yeah.
high emotional
Yeah.
quotient that's
Yeah.
involved in this.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just curious to understand your take on busy parents also. Yes, they are married and
Yeah.
they're a good family, but today both parents work.
Yeah.
They are unavailable,
Yeah.
so to say. They are very busy. And I think there is a certain amount of disconnection somewhere. So, as a family ritual, what do you suggest? What's an advice where they can all still sort of come on the same ground? Like, what can families do? Because the dad is not there working different shifts, or they earn really well, missing from the house. So what is your advice to families?
So if you see a lot of addiction, cases of addiction with the kids, and lot of other unlawful activity, or whenever they have taken it, so if you see, usually there is something like this: parents are busy, they are not able to give attention to the child, and
Yeah.
child is very badly missing that love and affection from nobody to share. And but lot of money is available, convenience is
Yeah.
available, driver is there, car is there, and then good pocket money is given, the expensive branded the clothing is there, and so all that makes them very live a life which is very unreal,
Mm.
and not connected with the grassroots, uh, actually what is life. So maybe in this case, at least they have to take some time. There's no shortcut or some other way, Raksha.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to take some time. First of all, they need to realize that it's very important. Otherwise, the damage what it is going to create on the child uh, is tremendous. I think they should
Yeah.
realize quickly, and they should have some attention and some money talk related to this.
Yeah, like you rightly said, today everything is a button away.
Yeah,
And say the parent is busy, they send a payment thing and you
yeah,
just approve it. It's so quick that decisions can be made and lives can be spoiled because of that.
yeah. And the other thing I have seen, that kids will try to misuse this. Sorry to say, but I have seen that. So when you are busy, and I know you are not going to agree, and when you are leaving the home or when you are entering a meeting, you just talk and you say, no, no, I want to do this, I want
Yeah.
to travel, I want this 10,000 or something. So you can't argue at that time. There is
Yes.
no time for negotiation or anything. So parents end up giving that. It
Correct.
becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So that they should be very careful. Other one is that, if father is saying no, then you go to mother, and if mother is saying no, go to father.
Father,
So
yeah.
that they have to sync up. Parents, they have to be on a same page, that they should catch this immediately, and then they should not be allowing such things. Otherwise you will be allowing a kid to grow up in a very financially irresponsible way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we spoke, there if there is a crisis situation, becomes very difficult to control, I
Not
feel.
only that, Raksha, I have seen parents who have not given such values are constantly monitor their child when they have become adults also, because
Mm.
as it's a misconception that as adult they will be able to handle money well. No, they will get into some transaction even at 30, 35. They get into some business, some partners who they trust, and all that money
Mm.
concepts will mess up in their mind. And again, parents have to keep settling them.
Ah,
Instead of that, it is easier, much easier. Prevention is better than cure.
cure.
it's
Yeah.
it's much better for them to give these early lessons and make them more prudent
Mm.
than lifelong you keep on settling your child. At 40, 50, 60, I've seen people
Oh
are
my
doing it.
God.
An 80-year-old parent, 85-year-old parent, still not having confidence to bequeath their property to them.
My
I've
goodness.
seen that. So it's better to give them early lessons.
Right. Ma'am, now I'm going to ask you a slightly different question in terms of perspective because I am a mom of a teenager. From a kid's perspective, now say they have indulged in a transaction that the outcomes are not very favorable. How do you think the child, uh, I mean, of course, they'll be feeling really bad. How do you advise that the kids approach this? How do they talk about it, and in turn how should the parents react? Because I think even from a child's perspective it's important.
No, definitely it's important, but it has to be holistic, Raksha. So if you are very friendly with the kid from for most of the things in life, then they will open up easily and then come and tell you. And I think when they are in need, when they are in difficult situation, I think parents giving them confidence that at
Yeah.
this time I'm there. That solves a lot of problem. Otherwise, they may approach somebody else for help, and that may be even
Yeah.
scary.
Mm.
So instead of that, I think as parents, instead of overreacting at the time, intensity may be really high, but at that time, the calmness, keeping oneself calm and understanding the situation, and try to help the child to bail out. If it is a first time mistake, if it is not so much of loss of money or something, you can definitely educate. The second time you can warn, and third time you can take more firmer action. But it's very delicate, very very delicate today, with whatever mental health issues kids are going through,
Yes,
and
yes.
the opportunities what the fraudulent people are taking this as a emotional vulnerability of the child. So they are there are situations which can really be very scary. So I think the holistic way you can approach as a parent.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, having these conversations is also so important.
Regularly, in good times.
Yeah, yeah, in good
In
times.
good times, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So now I think we all as parents are replicas of our previous generation. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have the fabric of what our parents did and they did what their parents did. It's a generational thing and also a cultural thing. So how can we, maybe there are good practices, there are bad. How can we decode this and how can we fix it somewhere if there are problems?
So fixing is difficult because it's a cultural, deep, ingrained things. So Asian culture, for example, is very different compared to Western culture. So in Asian culture, even today, the earning, saving, wealth creation, not spending so much, taking a credit line is not considered as very good. Whereas in Western culture, consumerism, and you can, the financial independence very early, and not depending on anyone else financially. Also, usage of credit is very much
Very high.
normalized. So kids, again, if they are in particular culture throughout, then it's easy, they will not get confused. If they are till 15, 16, they are in a particular culture, and then for example they are in India, and then they go abroad, and suddenly there is a total cultural shock to them of the money aspect. So as parents, and definitely there has to be a constant awareness should be given to the child, saying that there these two separate cultures, there are nothing good or bad, it's evolved basically, as the country evolves. But you can always take best of the both of the worlds.
Yeah.
So you take it, and maybe if you want to insist on certain things firmly on our culture, and say that yes, I think we strongly believe and we have benefited from it,
Yeah.
and we have seen long term it has got a good implication on us, we have seen that. So I definitely highly recommend you to follow this,
Yeah.
and maybe you can take certain aspect of it from other culture.
Ma'am, would you know of resources where kids can actually, sort of learn about these cultures? Because certainly very curious to know.
No, there are many material available on the net. They can search age appropriate, but parental guidance is required.
Is required. Okay.
Parents should go through that material, that content,
Mm.
and then they can ask them to go through.
Because in this respect, education becomes so key.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I think within India itself, we have such a diverse
yeah,
background. With regard to money, we have seen
yeah,
different communities reacting differently to
yeah.
different aspects of money. So I think here awareness becomes so important.
Yes, absolutely. You're right.
Yes. Again, I think going back to this age group of building good habits. Now, teens and young adults today have a lot of job opportunities. Very, maybe college going kids are taking up part time jobs or side hustles, or they start getting into a job. So, according to you, how early should one start working? What is the right age?
So there is no straight answer for this. It depends again on the family culture, family situation, and also the child's mindset. Some kids are very open. In fact, they want to make their pocket money, extra pocket
Hmm.
money, what they're not getting from their parents. And parents should very clearly evaluate whether this is out of interest they are doing it, or are they doing it to buy something which they are not allowing them to buy,
Hmm.
or is it something which is avoiding their education, or is it just for the fun they're doing it, but they're that is impacting their academics. So very carefully they have to evaluate this, and sort of give permission to them to do part-time job.
Mm.
if they feel that this part-time job is affecting them academically. Because if you see the below 18 till you finish your education, that is the time you have fun, you build your academics, and you grow as an adult.
Mm.
At the time, there is no compulsion, and there is no requirement, or there is no interest from the kid to do a part time job. I think it is okay for parents. They
Mm.
should not be forcing or encouraging them. If some kid is really interested and gets the opportunity
Yeah.
with all these conditions, if parents should evaluate them and give them the permission. Maybe they can say that you can work say 10 hours a week,
Mm.
and during examination time you should not be
Take.
working.
Okay.
So
Mm.
all that certain jobs say you cannot come at 12 o'clock in the night, or all that, whatever that depends on their
Family
family,
values
yes,
and
now
yeah.
norms or something, they can put such conditions.
Okay.
And this also brings me to another question. If some families goes through hardships we discussed, and if compulsory there is a necessity for kid
Yeah.
to contribute, and it is going to impact the child for sure. It may be temporary, it may be long term.
Mm.
So if it is temporary, I think the parents should tell the child that has become because of whatever reason, and it's going to be temporary, and it's not a punishment. And
Mm.
I have seen a surprisingly lot of kids who support their family try to get that, they feel very awkward in front of their friends, again peers, and
Mm.
they get indulged into some addiction. I've seen that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they earn and they contribute, and then the rest of the money they use it. So I think the parents at home, they should be really giving them that comfort, saying
Mm.
that this is only a temporary situation. If it is a long term thing, definitely they have to have more direct dialogue, saying that parents are going to be dependent on the child
Mm.
for a longer time, and they have to help them,
Yeah.
something like that. There
Yeah.
may be health issues is a one ground what I see normally. So they are earning very well, and suddenly some health issue comes up, or one parent passes away, the
Mm.
mother or father single, they will start taking care. Then there is a requirement for such situation. There's another interesting case where I see now both parents work, and they make good amount of money, but their kids, they when they start earning, the dilemma is that should the parents, they're self sufficient,
Yeah.
should the parent take the money
Yeah. I
from
was about to ask
yeah,
you, if you remove adversity from the
yeah,
equation,
yeah.
should you still make them feel accountable?
Absolutely, you should be. Subsidizing cannot be forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not that it is not something you're going to be profiting out of it. It is just that you're also part of this family, so you have some responsibility, you have some accountability, and you need to share. I
Mm.
think more than anything, it's sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing that, yeah, they should be contributing.
Right.
Yeah.
Ma'am, then it brings me to this next question. Today, a lot of families have one child, and there are others who have two kids. So, is there a dynamic that changes? Because I think somewhere as families, also, that is another question where we say, is it our money, or is it my money and his money, or her money? So, do we bring a sense of it is our money as a family? And if yes, then how does the dynamic change when there is a single child versus a two kid family?
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's a big shift. Because if it is two or three, then definitely it is shared.
Mm.
If it is a single child, it's single child syndrome is for parents also.
Mm.
And even if the child will be entitled for a lot of things, which, if they have two kids. So definitely dynamics changes, and parents should be very conscious of that fact that uh, the kids are normally. They don't know how to share,
Mm.
unless in Asian culture where cousins are together, the family outing is
Mm.
together, and there is some dynamics around this where they know a little bit of sharing. So money definitely is going to be a different.
So, ma'am, I wanted to ask you about this our money and your money, my money concept. Do families encourage saying we are one pool of money? Or, like, of course, I think between couples, there is, of course, our money would have crept in. But when the kid comes to play, they are very possessive about that. So, how do you deal with that?
So over possessiveness is something which you need to be aware and discourage. But to some extent, it's as long as you're within limits, and it's just that it's part of growing up. When you're seeing them as
Yeah.
part of growing up, that is fine. But at the end of the day, it's a family's money.
Mm.
It's the right pocket and the left pocket.
Mm.
So if father loses, the family loses money. If mother loses, if the child loses, it's going to impact the entire family.
Mm.
So it is always our money as a family pool. But of course, the individuals also have responsibility and freedom to do to a larger charter. Keeping that larger charter in
Mm.
mind, they can manage that.
Okay, so I think it's a good balance between the
Yes,
two.
good balance as long as it is fun and as part of growing up. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
So then that brings me to the next question, which talks about rewards, especially for good grades. Because I think for kids, it's a very attractive prize. And for the parents, it's a very easy carrot to hang in front of them. So do you encourage that?
I don't think so. It should be encouraged
Mm.
because it's something academics, till they attain 18. That is what, sir, they're supposed to be learning. Then the learning cannot be earning.
Mm.
So you can't keep on giving them motivation through money, and that becomes a habit, and everything starts becomes a money quotient. So
Mm.
you give me this much and then I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
So no, I personally, this is
Mm.
my personal opinion, that should not be encouraged.
But in terms of rewarding them, I think non-monetary is okay.
Absolutely good. No, behavioral for their good
Yeah.
behavior, and occasionally rewarding them with some kind, so maybe cycle or maybe taking
Mm.
them out
An
or getting
experience.
this, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that should be okay. But then if you're getting A grade, I will pay you 10,000 rupees and with
Okay.
full freedom that whatever you want to do, that is not something which should be done
Right.
according to me. Yeah.
Right. I think limitations and boundaries
Yeah.
are important. Finally, I think I want to really know about generosity and philanthropy and that mindset in children. How can parents build that? It's very important. And today, it has become a practice that you go to an orphanage or a home like that for their birthdays.
Hmm.
Is that enough effort, or what do you advise? What is the best way to bring charitable mindset in kids?
So, Raksha, you should see what is the objective in giving them these values. The first objective is that you are trying to teach them money is a tool to do a lot of good things. Two, there are a lot of underprivileged people, and the gratitude comes to them saying that no, I think we should be thankful for whatever we have. Third is that many times, if you see that we spoke about single child,
Yeah.
so there is somewhere there they feel that they are entitled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that entitlement will go away to a large extent if they start getting into a charitable activity, and when they start
Right.
sharing the money with them, and not only money, they actually they have to go there and experience it. So parents should make the definitely a lot of efforts. First they should start doing something like
Mm.
this, and then that becomes a very natural thing for the kids.
Mm.
So I have seen parents who are more involved in social work and more compassionate towards the underprivileged. They feel for it and they part away some money. Here quantum is not important. Here the emotion, the
Yeah.
compassion is more important.
Yeah.
I think the compassion, best way to teach a child compassion and being responsible is through charity.
Mm.
Yeah. And I feel it has become a very, very um, templated effort that parents take them to a birthday in an orphanage or some underprivileged, and that will not be sufficient, and
Yeah.
it becomes a very, very a one time activity. See, this compassion cannot be a remembrance for a one day in a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's something you feel every day. So that should be a constant effort. At
Mm.
least first step is to just go and start in a place where you find people who really need this.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, maybe intensity can be increased, yeah,
Increased.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, finally, I want to conclude by asking you, what was that one money lesson that you had to unlearn as an adult that you are making sure that your children are learning?
So it's
correctly.
not one, it's many, Raksha.
Okay.
So, you know, during your childhood, not only your family, also extended family, friends, everybody will have their own, cultural as well as their experiential lessons about money. And normally, there are few things which will we keep hearing. Money is not everything.
Mm,
Money will not get the happiness. And then all people who are rich would have used some other means to make that money. And
true. Mm,
so many negative beliefs like this are there. And we don't have that so much of aspiration. It's very materialistic. We should be focusing on other values. So many things, and I don't think so I can ever make that kind of money.
mm,
So a lot of limiting beliefs are floating in the
mm,
family and in the environment. So I had to unlearn a lot of things. And first of all, the awareness of these are all limiting beliefs itself took time
exactly.
to go through that. And then
Yeah.
when I understood, and then again, even if you are aware, you don't see the impact so much it is going to have on you. So when you realize this is what it is limiting you in your growth, personal growth, definitely then you start working on it.
Mm,
Then definitely I don't want my son to go through with the same limiting belief. And why learn and unlearn and then relearn? And a lot of time gets wasted.
yeah.
Instead of that, it's better to have a positive, the belief towards money. And that's why I keep saying that your relationship with money is very important.
Yes.
More healthier the relationship with money, more responsible and prudent you will become.
Yes. Yes. So true. I think you made a very powerful statement about limiting beliefs. We have so much more to achieve in this area, I feel. But thank you so much for your insight. I think this is an area that is never ending because I'm sure there are a lot of moms out there who want their children and their families to start having better practices with regard to money. So I really encourage families or moms or dads who are watching this to drop in a comment if you have a specific question relating to your situation. If you want to stay anonymous, you can also write an email to the email mentioned in the description. We are also open to discussing one-on-one with kids or parents who would like any sort of one-to-one time with the team regarding this. Feel free to reach out to us on that email, and our team will get back to you. Thank you.